Welcome to this presentation of the Artlantis Render Manager. Render Manager is an independent app installed by default with Artlantis 6.5. This cross-platform application will manage the final calculation of those renderings sent for later calculating in Artlantis and will dispatch the calculation tasks among multiple computers linked to a network. In our example, we'll calculate two presentations by using multiple client computers. The first presentation will be a still image, and the other one will be an animation, both parts of this Artlantis project. Clicking on the camera icon, we open the dialog about the final rendering. It contains two options: Render Now and Render Later. Choosing Render Now means that Artlantis will start the calculation process instantly. By choosing Render Later, we postpone the calculation and it will be launched by the Render Manager at a later time. The same dialog allows us to define the location of the rendering and the desired file format. In case of a later calculation, the Artlantis file should be saved in archive format. This format stores in the native ATL file all the shaders, objects, textures used in this project, and ensures secure data sharing among client computers without any media loss. After all this is set, we can close the dialog. The still image was sent to the batch calculation. Now we open the animation inspector where we already have a sequence ready to be calculated, and here it is. The same in the final calculation dialog, we'll choose to postpone the calculation by checking the Render Later option. My Artlantis file was already saved as an archive file, so I can close it now. When launching the calculation with the Render Manager, we follow the following steps. We launch the client applications on the contributing computers. We launch the Render Manager. And finally, we launch the calculation process. Regarding the first step, the Render Manager needs at least one client to be able to perform the tasks. The link between the Render Manager and the client computer is done through the independent client application installed and launched on the Mac or the Windows platform. On the computer running Artlantis, it is installed by default, and you will find it in the Artlantis program folder. Here it is. On other computers, first you'll need to download the independent client application from our website and install it. It is available for both the Mac and Windows platforms as well. And here it is, Artlantis Client Network. There is no limitation to the number of clients Render Manager can use. The more clients participating in the process, the more optimized the rendering time will be. The second step is to launch the Render Manager. Its interface has two main parts. In the upper side, the clients are listed, while in the lower part we can find the queuing rendering tasks. For the time being, there are 4 connected clients. I can disconnect any of them by clicking on the dot and change its status. Now, only 3 client computers will perform the calculation: 2 Windows and a Mac. In the lower part, we'll find our still image and the animation waiting to be rendered. Before launching the rendering, I can review the parameters set in Artlantis by clicking on the wheel icon on its thumbnail. Some of them remain editable, like the file format, and we can change it here too. This way, we don't need to reopen the Artlantis file for the changes, and we save time. The same thing is valid for the animation. Rolling down the list with extensions, I can choose independent frames in different formats, or on Mac I can also choose the Move file. The third step is about launching the calculation. We click on the large green arrow in the lower right-hand side of the window and the process starts. Please note the activating tile buckets in the real-time preview. Each bucket represents a working client. As the calculation evolves, the rendered buckets piece together our still image on the computer running the Render Manager. When the calculation of the still image is ready, the Render Manager launches the next task, which is the animation. Here, instead of a preview, we can see progress bars about how the calculation is performed on clients. In our case, we have 3 progress bars corresponding to the 3 working clients on the network. If an unanticipated disconnection of a client occurs, the render manager will redistribute the tasks in order to complete the calculation successfully. The different colored client and rendering dots have their own meanings. For clients, a white dot appearing on the client's icon shows the status of it. If it turns orange, it means that the client is calculating. As for the renderings, the white dot means that the rendering is waiting to be calculated. If the calculation starts, the dot turns orange and stays orange until the end of the process. When the rendering is ready, the dot turns green. The calculation of our renderings is done. One click on the magnifying glass, and the selected rendering opens in a program associated with its format. Another click on the I sign on the thumbnail, and we can review the information about its name, format, creation date, and rendering time. For the still image, the rendering time was 1 minute 2 seconds. The animation was completed in 1 hour and 22 seconds. A few words about the system requirements for the render manager and clients. It's recommended to use similar configurations for all computers running these 2 applications. It concerns the number of processors, their capacity, and the RAM. The graphic card is not important because the clients will never use it. Thank you for watching. To learn more about the Render Manager and Artlantis, please visit our website at www.artlantis.com.